Hello, I'm Salma Ibrahim, and today I'll be answering creative critical question number 1, which is how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups and issues? To begin with, one of the most significant aspects that contribute to the mirroring and usage of conventions is a camera work, for the reason that camera work is responsible for how everything on screen is displayed and presented to the audience, radiating all kinds of emotions that are within a scene, resulting in the main theme of the film being delivered to the audience. Ranging from camera shots, angles, composition, and movement, each component has a major role in delivering messages and showcasing everything that is in frame, so that the main theme and genre is reflected, in this case, the science fiction genre and dystopian subgenre. All these factors work together so that all the crucial aspects of the conventions are what the audience see and interact with. In my film, the use of many different shots had to be implemented so that I could use my genre conventions. For instance, close-up shots were used in my first scene with the intent of showing my character's relationship with technology and how she interacts and behaves with technology, making it possible for me to portray representations by simultaneously giving the audience insights into her personality and overall demeanor, giving me the opportunity to make the audience resonate and understand my character's motives and choices. The use of high and low angles was one of the most impactful aspects for me to use. In my genre conventions, both angles are commonly used, as science fiction films always contain two sides within the plot. Therefore, I use these angles to show the vulnerability of my main character in the face of extreme control and oppression. Correctly framing and using the right movements made me use almost all camera shots, like medium close-ups, long shots, and point-of-view shots, which made it possible to portray the disorientation that my character felt, making the audience see what she is experiencing while showing the psychological effect that this society has on her. And lastly, establishing shots, which made me establish the time and setting with the aim of making the audience gain a sense of familiarity and grasp the idea, which is the main theme of my film opening. As a result of using camera work that aligns with my genre conventions, showcasing the desolate and oppressive society that is at the center of my film's overall theme was achievable, as well as it was possible for me to meet my genre conventions when it came to characters, showing the personality of my main character and how she reacts in a dystopian society, hinting the rebellious traits she possesses. In science fiction dystopian films, the sound used is a significant indicator that presents the genre of the film. In my film, the sound conventions of my genre were accomplished and widely used. In this genre, the use of sound effects is what gives the audience a sense that the film is set in the future, amongst their other purposes, which are to increase tension and suspense in the scene. In my case, I use sound effects to show both of these aspects, increasing the sense of familiarity with the audience as they are able to gain a better comprehension of what is happening in the scenes. Regarding the soundtracks used, which I implemented with the intention of representing the emotions that were in my scenes, drastically increasing the sense of urgency and the uneasy feeling that roams around my scenes, my film was able to meet the conventions of my genre by emphasizing the sound while also portraying the emotions and experiences that my character is going through, which will eventually result in my main idea being delivered to the audience. To add a sense of realism, I added bird sound effects during the scene that took place outdoors. I also used a futuristic sound effect for when the microwave opened. These made great use of my conventions and added sense to the scenes. The lighting genre conventions, however, were at an instant challenge in my film opening, only during the first part of my opening scene with an idea behind it, making the lighting appear high-key and welcoming so that I can give the illusion that nothing terrible is about to happen, eliminating all feelings of unease from the audience with the aim of giving insights or any source of foreshadowing to the excruciating series of events that are awaiting my character in this dystopian society. Alternatively, when the scene is shifted to the other location, the use of low-key lighting and cool color undertone is shown, making use of the genre conventions and revealing the other side of the film opening. Now portraying the desolate and suspenseful feeling that are within this scene, symbolizing that everything has now changed, leaving the audience left with a shift so sudden, ending in a mysterious location. Therefore, the use of low-key and high-key lighting made it possible to make use of genre conventions, while at the same time making the audience feel the emotions that the scene is giving. The use of both also made it possible to transition between two totally distinct worlds, showing the audience what Juliet is now facing in a desolate reality. This gave the audience a sense of involvement as they were brought into the world of my film, moving from a bright and optimistic normal atmosphere with high-key lighting to a dystopian nightmare with low-key lighting. On top of that, in order for me to establish a sense of place and time while using the conventions of my genre, making great use of props is what gave me aid in doing so. With the right modifications, I made customized designs for each one, highlighting the sense of connectivity between humans and technology, portraying representations as well as symbolizing certain elements. For instance, headphones were used to show my character using music as a form of escapism and respire from her current reality, even further showcasing mental illness and coping mechanisms. These technologies were at the center of my plot, as they represented more than one element of the dystopian society, as well as gave many insights on my main character's personality and struggles. Along with showing the conventions of the science fiction genre, making it clear to the audience that this is set in a future society where humans reply deeply and have built a relationship with technology. A fundamental aspect that is greatly emphasized when talking about the science fiction dystopian genre is the location in which the film is set, as it similarly holds deep symbolism when compared to other conventions of the genre. The location in which my first scene was set in, a house, my own house, with the right modifications and use of filming and editing, the house was transformed into the perfect setting. The location helped establish the time in which my film was set, as well as the overall theme of my film. As I was able to fix the set, add props, and edit many other props, as a result, the location was able to convey many emotions and capture how my character interacts in the dystopian society she is in. The bed, television, and microwave made it possible to capture the technology part, while the outside area made it achievable to film the part in which my main character blacks out. The other location, which is set in a mental hospital, made it possible to capture the emotions that came from the scene. The location consisted of a bed, experimental tools, and doctor tools, all of which were greatly beneficial in establishing the location and raising the sense of curiosity to the audience, captivating and compelling them to ask questions. This location made the dystopian subgenre clearly evident, as a crumbling society is shown and inferiority of my main character is also shown. The mental hospital location made me effectively use the conventions of my genre and subgenre consistently, while also making the emotions that I intended for the scene to contain successfully evident. And through editing, I was able to show the use of my conventions and highlight important elements of my genre. First of all, the titles and credits were displayed in a way in which they represented my genre, using the different fonts I had downloaded and carefully picked with the aim of using them for the title and credits to capture my genre from the beginning, offering a sense of familiarity while also offering some insights on the film's genre for the audience so that they gain a better understanding while watching. Furthermore, the use of cross-cutting while using non-continuity editing in my first scene also reminded us of the conventions of the genre. As in many science fiction films, these techniques are used to add a sense of tension and urgency to the scene, which is the reason for using these techniques, emphasizing how freely she is going through her morning routine and adding only some hints of the dystopian nightmare that is awaiting my main character, Juliet. In the second location, set in the mental hospital, I also used editing to show the disorientation that my character felt while waking up, using my conventions further, as this showed the position of my main character and how weak she is in relation to the controlling government, showing how she felt in that moment, while also using the editing technique, the eyeline matchmaking, the audience resonate with my character as they can understand what she is feeling and experiencing, increasing how much my film speaks to them. My film opening task, the unveiling, a science fiction film opening scene, has a deep representation of both social groups in addition to issues. Initially, as I went deeper and discovered more information about this genre, I learned how different elements are represented and portrayed through conventions, making them influential to the audience, as each convention has its own purpose when it comes to representations. In my film opening task, my character, Juliet, is a young woman, independent woman who suffers from a dissociative disorder. She uses many things as a way to escape society, finding comfort in certain coping mechanisms, and building relationships with an AI. Living in a dystopian society that is crumbling due to technological control, using her as a way to captivate the audience is extremely influential, as I am able to represent a shattering society through the eyes of a woman, showing the different struggles she goes through. Her youth and innocence as a young woman can be extremely intriguing to the audience, as they see how she lives against this dystopian society, evoking feelings of apprehension from the audience while still shedding a light on the hope that is within this young woman, representing the potential of women in circumstances of hopelessness, in this case, that dystopian society. Most importantly, highlighting the possibility of a better future and how women will contribute to that. In my film opening task, it also represents significant social issues that we can see present in our daily lives that could eventually lead to a similar future. My main character sees comfort in the relationship she has with her AI assistant Dave, using it as a respire from reality, as if this is her shifting into her own desired reality while forgetting about her current reality, representing individuals with a dissociative disorder, simultaneously showing the reliance on technology and artificial intelligence in a society where human relationships are suppressed and unfavorable, further emphasizing the desolate sense of isolation. The representation reflects how the way individuals rely on technology and sense of human disconnectedness will only continue to grow, demolishing emotional and deep relationships between humans, and how technology is used to manipulate societal norms as well as normal human behavior.